If you want to become a successful gaming streamer or content creator, you're going to have to take risks. You're going to have to risk something. Because the truth is, you're not going to be able to grow and build a gaming career if you're trying to play it safe. So in this video, I'm going to teach you 3 risks that every gaming creator must be willing to take if you want to grow your content, if you want to grow your community, and if you eventually want to start making money from this. What's good, kinfolk? This your boy Uncle Tone, Coach Tone, whatever you want to call me. I am the founder of the Franchise Network, and I created this channel, this specific business, to help gaming creators like yourself who are looking to grow their content, grow their community, and eventually grow their cash. So let's get down to business. See, what we have to realize is that life is full of risk. There's no way to avoid risk. I don't care who you is. I don't care what you do, how much money you got. None of that matters. Everybody who wants to be successful in any aspect of their life have to take risks. Myself, for example, I had to take risks. I had to take risks of posting content that I knew would probably make people feel some type of way. I had to take risks of putting myself out there, letting people see my face, letting people see my voice. I had to take risks of spending money to upgrade my equipment so that I can be a better streamer, so that I can get better quality content. It's all risky. Hell, I'm even taking the risk of building a franchise network, putting myself out here now, teaching other gaming creators how to do the same thing that I'm doing. I'm already starting to get some squares in the comments saying this guy got 12 subscribers and he think he know what he's talking about, but I'm okay with that. I understand that success comes with risk. I understand in order for me to grow this channel, to grow this business, to be able to help you, I got to be willing to take risk, and I am. But the question really is, are you? And this brings us to point number 1, risk being seen. See, a lot of creators like yourself, it probably ain't a lack of talent at the game or a lack of being entertainment. It's really the lack of you willing to take risks, for you to get over your fears of people actually judging you. I know it's been plenty of times, again, my own personal experience, where I've had content that I've edited, chopped up, and was getting ready to post it, and I didn't post it. Why? Because I was scared to take that risk of people judging me. But I promise you, the moment that I grew out of that, and I say, you know what, I'm gonna post my content anyway, regardless of what some way may have to say, even though they don't even know who I am, that's when things started to change for me. I started to fear less posting content, and I actually started to get more engagement and more views. And the funny thing is, a lot of the times when I thought people was gonna be judging me, it was actually people agreeing with me. So we build this stuff up in our head before we ever even put it out there, and we gotta stop doing that. Because in order for you to grow your community, in order for you to get to where you're gonna go, you gotta take risks of allowing people to judge you. This is the world we live in, accept it for what it is, but at the end of the day, still post your content and do what you gotta do. See, and what you gotta realize, the more that you're afraid to take the risk of allowing people to judge you, you're actually hiding yourself from your own community, from the people who wanna see you go live, from the people who wanna see you post content, from the people who wanna see you go from 0 to 20K. So stop being afraid to take risks of people judging you, because all you're doing is actually hiding yourself from the people who are not going to judge you but want to be a part of your community. And trust me, bro, I know it's not easy. It's not easy. I'm not going to sit right here and make it seem like it's easy to just put yourself out there, allow people to judge you. It's not easy. But anything that's worth having, it ain't going to be easy, because honestly, when you put yourself out there, people are going to judge your gameplay. They're going to judge how you look. They're going to judge how you sound. They're going to judge how you react. They're going to judge every single thing about you, even though they have no idea who you are. But at the end of the day, that does not matter, because the same exposure that's going to allow people to criticize you is the exact same exposure that's going to actually allow your people and your community to discover you. I honestly can remember when I first started posting consistently, when I finally got over the fact that, you know what, I don't care what these folk got to say. I'm going to post my 3 clips a day regardless of what they got to say. And I promise you, it happened. People started judging me, saying, talk about my gameplay, how I suck and all of this. But the crazy part is, I started to grow my community even bigger. The more I posted, the bigger my community got. But I was not afraid to take risk anymore. I said, you know what? If people gonna judge me, people gonna have something to say about me, it is what it is. That's their own character. Hey, it ain't gonna do nothing bad for my life. All it's gonna do is increase my engagement. And that's the same thing that's gonna happen for you. So you gotta realize that those same people that's judging you and thinking they pulling you down is actually pushing you up. So you got to stop worrying about these little 10, 20 people judging you, when it's actually a potential way that over 10,000 people could actually discover you. But putting yourself out there and allowing people to judge you is only the first risk, because eventually you got to put yourself out there and actually fail. Which brings me to point number 2. You got to risk failing publicly. You got to be willing to create content that does not work. It is what it is. Not all your content gonna go viral. Not all your content gonna get hundreds of thousands of views. But you got to be okay with putting out content that has the possibility to fail. Because guess what? Every piece of content has the possibility to fail, regardless of how long you spent editing it, regardless of how much you think it's going to go viral, because of how great you think or believe it might be, it still has a risk of failing. And this is honestly a lot of times why a lot of creators actually quit because they put out content, they feel like it failed, it didn't get enough views, and then they take those low views as, I'm not good at this, or my content is not great because they spent all this time creating this piece of content, built it up in their mind that it's going to do certain numbers and go viral, and it didn't. And then they get that, that feeling in their head like, dang, I wasn't good enough. But you, as a creator, as a gamer, as a content person, you got to learn how to shift your mindset and stop looking at it as a failure. And what you got to do is look at it from a different lens. Okay, this video I put out, I thought it was going to be great. It didn't do so great. The next question got to be why? Not downing yourself, beating yourself up because it didn't get the views that you want and go viral the way you thought it would. But why? Look at your analytics. What happened in this video that didn't make it go viral? Was my opening too slow? Was the title on the screen not strong enough? Did the thumbnail not match the feel and the vibe of the video? Did I bring all the right energy? See, posting videos that quote unquote fail is not actually a failure unless you see it as a failure. And if you want to be a successful gaming creator, content creator, you cannot try to avoid failure. Think about this, right? You're a gamer. Think about whatever game you play and think about how you actually get good at that game. Playing Madden, playing Call of Duty, playing 2K. The way you actually get better is playing the game, failing at the game, sucking at the game, realizing where you can improve, actually working on those things to get better. So creating content from your live streams, from your recording, you can't look at it any different. It's the same exact thing. The way you got better at the game from where you were to where you are now is the same way that you have to work to get better at creating content that stands out to yourself as well as your community. And to be honest, I done had plenty of videos that I posted that trust me, I spent that time editing. I said, oh yeah, this the one. I know this one gonna go viral. And it didn't. But guess what? I didn't get upset. I analyzed. I looked at my information. I said, okay, what did I do wrong in this video and why did it go viral like the rest of these did? And I learned from that. And I continue to learn from that to this day. Every time that I'm editing content, I think about those moments when my videos, quote unquote, fail and I risk failing in public. I think about those moments when I'm editing because I've learned from them. I've got better at editing content. I've got better at creating content. I've even got so much better that I'm starting to teach other people how to edit my content like me. But that comes with you willing to take the risk to actually put it out there so that you can see what's going to happen with it. And once or whatever results you get from it, now you can start to move differently. Now you can edit differently. Now you can pick up on things differently. Now you can say, oh, this title could have been a little bit stronger. So don't always look at videos that you put out there that fail, that don't get the amount of views that you want. Don't look at it as a failure. Instead, look at it as an opportunity for you to analyze and get better. But there is one more risk that's necessary for you to take when you decide you want to do more than just create content. Which brings me to my final point and point number 3. Risk investing in yourself. You're going to have to risk investing in yourself before you ever see a reward. Now, I'm not telling you to go out here and just spend blindly. I'm not telling you to go out here and spend unnecessary money on straight bullshit if you know it ain't going to actually benefit what you're trying to do. Let's get that clear. That ain't what Coach Tone trying to get you to do. I'm trying to teach you how to take calculated risk. Because the truth is, there is going to become a time where you're actually going to have to invest in yourself. You're going to have to invest in better equipment. You're going to have to sign up for certain monthly subscriptions to help with your editing software. You're going to have to actually invest in education, learning from somebody who've already been in your shoes that knows how to build it and you pay them to teach you. You're going to have to invest in actually hiring other people so that you're not doing every single thing, which is something I'm not going to lie. I had a challenge with at first, but I realized, hey, that helped me more than it hurt me. You're going to have to actually invest in starting a business because once you get to a certain point, this has to become a legitimate business. And that's something you're going to have to actually put money into. Because at some point, you really are going to have to make a decision is, look, am I just creating content or am I actually trying to build something for real? Because if you're trying to build something real, you're going to have to make an investment with your hard-earned money that you're spending them 40 hours probably at your job a week working and put it back into yourself, into your brand, even though you might not see a reward right away. Cause I ain't gonna lie, I took a lot of risks. When I first started this thing, I was using my wife's laptop. I didn't even have my own computer. I was live streaming and recording all my content and editing through my wife's laptop. Eventually, I had to take some money out of my own pocket, spend $200 on a mini gaming PC that I got from Amazon to actually make my live stream a little bit better, to make it quicker so that I had to depend on my wife and working around her schedule. And once I did that, I realized again, dang, I got to upgrade again. That's when I spent like 600 on a pre-built gaming PC because I knew I needed something stronger so that I can multi-screen, taking money out of my own pocket. Matter of fact, I went on a payment plan to actually buy the PC that I currently have, that I'm using right now to record this video. But I understand that that was a risk I was willing to take, and it was a calculated risk because I knew exactly what I was trying to do. I knew I wanted to go beyond just making content. I knew that I wanted to actually build something special, build a community. And I knew that it was going to be pieces of software and stuff that I needed so that I could get good quality audio, so I can get a good camera view, so that I can be able to go live for a certain amount of time and my PC not crash on me, which is what my little $200 PC kept doing. But every risk that I took, it was calculated. It wasn't me just saying, look, man, I'm just about to get this just cause. No, it can't be like that. It has to be calculated risk when it comes to investing into yourself. And the way that you learn and really understand if it's actually calculated or just some bullshit, these are the type of questions you got to ask yourself. What am I actually trying to accomplish? Like, are you trying to be just a content creator, just put content out, just make some little extra money on the side? Is that what you're trying to do? Or are you trying to replace your full-time job? That's what you have to truly figure out. What exactly is it that you're actually trying to accomplish as a gamer creator? And then you got to ask yourself, how can me making this investment actually get me to where I want to go? Okay, what does me buying another mic do for me? What does me upgrading my camera do for me? What does me upgrading my PC do for me? What does me paying for this monthly subscription for this editing software actually do for me? And another question you got to ask yourself is, look, if I spend this money, can I still survive financially? Because you still, at the end of the day, life be lifing. You got rent, you got bills. Some of us got kids, jobs. Like, don't just be spending your money just because you got it and then saying, you know what, let me spend my light bill money. Now you ain't got no lights to even go live and be able to edit your content. So you got to ask yourself that question too. Can me making this financial investment actually hurt me if this don't work? All right, so we're going to wrap this up and we're going to bring all of this together. Because the crazy thing is that most gaming creators and people in this space actually think playing it safe is going to help them avoid failure, but it's not. Because there's one big risk that most people don't want to face, and that's going into the future, 3, 5, 10 years from now, looking back and saying, dang, what if I would have just took the risk then? Where would I be now? So now you didn't want to take these little simple risks, and you don't risk going into the future and having to look back and say, what if? Because at the end of the day, you're taking risk, whether you believe it or not. So your question got to be is, do I want to risk failure or risk having regret? So if you're my gamer creator who's watching this, I got one challenge for you. This week, I want you to take one risk. You can either post a video that you've been thinking about posting, but you've been overthinking it. You can go ahead and start up that YouTube channel, start up that Facebook page, start up that Instagram, that TikTok, that Twitch, whichever one you haven't actually started because you're afraid to take the risk. You can show your face if you haven't already been showing your face. You can use your voice if you already haven't been putting your voice over your videos. You can take the risk of trying a different style content to see if that actually works better than what you've been putting out. Or you can actually invest some time learning the platform, learning what they like, what they don't like, and how you can actually grow as a gaming creator. So look, if you're my gaming creator and right now you're like, dang, I get what you're saying, man, but I'm still feeling stuck. I still feel like I'm struggling. What you can do is hit the link in my description where you can either get my screen to income blueprint that'll show you how to turn this thing from just creating content into actual income, or you can book a free 30-minute strategy call where we sit down one-on-one and we talk to each other for 30 minutes. I chop it up with you. We see where you are, see what you're trying to accomplish, and we put together a simple action plan to take you to the next step. But remember, you don't have to have everything figured out before you start, but you do got to be willing to take the risk of starting, because no risk don't mean no failure. No risk means no opportunity. It's your boy, Uncle Tone, Coach Tone. I'll see you in the next video.